Cameroonian Jean-Marc NDJOFANG comes across as a mild-mannered, unassuming, polite man. He becomes slightly animated when we discuss the challenges facing Africa's youth, but on the whole he was charmingly reserved when he visited the Radio Netherlands studio.
It's really a pleasure for me being here today, so it's just great.
However, put a drafts board and a credible opponent opposite him, and Jean-Marc NDJOFANG is transformed into a focused and ruthlessly creative fighter. Here he is explaining how he became hypnotized by a game which some people estimate as over 4,000 years old.
I started playing draft maybe 20-25 years ago. We play on the street, and every evening after coming back from school, I was just going there looking at people playing, and I just like the game, playing alone, playing with friends, and finally, I started playing competitions.
Can you tell me, when you were playing as a child, were you, and don't be shy now, just be honest, were you noticeably better than the other children?
I cannot explain that, it was just natural. I just liked the game. At that moment, my age friends were going to play football as well, soccer and all over. But me, I just liked enjoying looking people playing draft. Then I started to play and I just like it. So it's always difficult to answer to this question. But it was like a destiny that I will play draft. I think so.
Jean-Marc's parents may not have supported his passion for drafts when he was a child, but they were firmly by his side when he was crowned champion at the inaugural African Drafts Championship in his home country of Cameroon.
About 10 countries were represented, and there were 4 Cameroonian players, and I was one of them. So for us, it was a first test, but this test was just great because I won the competition, so I became African champion, and the second was also a Cameroonian.
Can you describe that moment that you realized you were about to become the African champion?
It was just great. It was, let's say, emotionally it was too high for me, realizing that I just played my first international competition and I became African champion.
In your home country?
Yeah, in my home country. You cannot imagine, with the family, with friends, with so many people. It was, for me, I will keep it in my mind for forever.
Being crowned African Drafts Champion opened several doors for Jean-Marc. He was invited to meet the Cameroonian sports minister and invited to play in tournaments all over the world, including right here in the Netherlands. Playing against players from different cultural backgrounds was a new challenge for Jean-Marc. Nevertheless, here he is explaining the key skills that give him the edge.
Let's say it's a combination of patience, research. It's also a mental sport, because you must be very, very strong in your mind. You have to learn from books, but in draft, let's say, you have also something you must bring from yourself. Imagination. You must create something. You have the learned knowledge from the theory, as we used to say, but you need to bring something from yourself. Also, you have to sometimes surprise your opponent, because he will say, oh, the theory say this, but sometimes you have to change the theory.
And Jean-Marc is also convinced that it's not just him, but rather African players in general who have an edge on their European opponents.
The characteristic of African players, because they are more imaginative, they are more themselves,
whereas Europeans maybe stick to the theory and the
they
rules.
always like to play what they know, what they have learned.
Okay. Could it also not be a bit more risky, though?
Yeah, it's risky, but it's also like life. To get something, you need to take some risk. If you want to win, you must try something.
A bit of philosophical advice from the Cameroonian Grandmaster there. But I decided to persist with this idea that African players could really have any sort of inherent edge over non-African drafts players.
It's the environmental situation in Africa, because there's the life, let's say, is not so easy, the daily life, and from that you learn. If always you have to fight to get something to eat, then you are more prepared. When I'm in front of a board, I will just say, oh, now I have to fight. I have to fight. So I will prepare myself to fight. This is the battle, and it's like I'm fighting to get something to eat. It is the same.
So, Jean-Marc seems convinced that because life is tougher for the average African, if such a thing exists, that makes Africans stronger drafts players. Either way, one thing is for sure. A tough drafts match takes its toll on the players, whatever the background. A match requires a lot of concentration and strain, but surely it can't be physically demanding, can it?
Yeah.
It is?
It is, of course. It is. Because sometimes, let's say, each player has 2 hours for a game. So it means 2 + 2 is 4 hours at least. If you are not prepared, then you will have more stress. You have even some players, they do, let's say, yoga to have a good self-control.
Are you serious? Really?
Yes. To have a good concentration, so they can, even if they have 5 seconds, they can still be quiet and find the right move.
Okay. You mentioned the Dutch champion there. Yeah. Now, you are African champion. Yeah. Oh, come on. You're smiling already. But when are you going to become Dutch champion? Is that on the cards? Do you think you can do it?
Yeah, I can do it. Just a matter of changing the nationality. But I have the strength. I can do it. I'm winning international tournaments. So, if I can do that, it's also possible for me to become a Dutch champion.